Okay, so here's a video about how to use Touchdesigner as a filter for your webcam, which you can then output to Zoom, so that you can look fancy on any Zoom call. So I got Touchdesigner open. The first thing we're going to do is get a video device in, and open up the camera here. And make sure that the device is set to be whatever your webcam is. And sometimes I've noticed, at least with my webcam, that if it's being used by something else, that it won't show up in Touch Designer. So if it's not showing up, that could be your problem. So let's do the end part first. So the end part is how you get that into Zoom. And what I use for that is I really like NDI. It's what seems to work for me. And Touch Designer has an operator um, that is NDI out. And maybe what I'll do is just set up a null. This into here. This into here. Um, and maybe let's do something like I don't know, something real quick, like a HSV adjust. So let's, in this HSV adjust here, let's send that to our null, and let's send the saturation way down. So we get something black and white. And then, I don't know, let's pixelate it. Here's how I like to do that. There's probably other ways, but this works for me. Is I'm going to send that to a transform and maybe scale it by a quarter, right? So it scales down. And then, right, if I scale it down by a quarter, in this one, I'm going to scale it up by 4, which you think just brings it back to normal. But here's the trick. What we're going to do is we're going to change the algorithm that it uses to scale up. You can see it's already gotten kind of pixelated because I scaled it down and I lost information. But if I change this from interpolate to, or maybe it's this one, nearest pixel, then you can see I get this kind of pixelated effect, right? Right. So here's what's happening. And then the last thing I want to do is, well, no, let's just try it out. Right. So this is now going to NDI out. So the next thing you want to do is you want to open up NDI. Yes, I'm still using Windows 10. Click on webcam. And that's going to make a little control tray thing show up somewhere down here, right? NDI webcam, and you'll see that um, video 1 is now coming from my Touch Designer. It's coming from Touch Designer from my NDI out. So that's basically it. So all you got to do is open up Zoom, and let's try it out. So let's say new meeting. And you can see here what you want to make sure is you're clicking NDI video 1, and there we go. Now you'll see it looks kind of weird, and so there's going to be a couple of video settings that you want to make sure to adjust. One of which is you want to turn off touch up my appearance, which I never have on. I always look this great, just so you know. And You can turn off mirror my video. I'm going to leave it on. I'll show you something. Just because it's almost always on, and you want to make sure background blur is off. And maybe this is just for low light. Make sure that's off. Right. Um, what's going on? Looks like it's still blurred. Um, oops. Maybe it's just the. Let's see. Yeah, I guess it's just because my background doesn't have a lot of contrast. But there you go. That's it. So one thing you can see, let's do this, right? I'm gonna put some text on here. And I always want to start from that webcam and say just set resolution, so we're sure we got the same resolution. And under font, we can make it something, I don't know, something kind of industrial, like sort of German things there. And let's set it to align left, and let's set it to align bottom, and let's composite it onto video here. Set that to add. So here's a fun, let's see. This part, I'm freestyling this part here. Clock. Let's do that. Let's go back here and let's try. There we go. That seems like fun. Now it's just, it's got the seconds counter. Um, so you'll see if I come back here, right? Everything has been flipped. So one way to deal with that would be to turn off, flip video and zoom. The other way to do that, or to deal with that, would be just to flip the output. Flip, and then turn on flip X. Right. So now you can see that we've got our um, everything is sort of flipped the right way around. Oops. Um, so what might be interesting, maybe we want to make that look a little bit more, maybe we want to make that counter look a little bit pixelated as well. So let's do this. Let's stick that there. And let's go back. So now all I've done is I've put that little composite with the counter. I put it on the before I do the scale down and scale up trick. All right. Let's do a few more things while we're at it, just to make this look, I don't know, kind of fun. I sort of like this, let's see, um, lens distort. It gives it a sort of surveillance camera sort of look that I like. And Let's also just maybe go from a pure black and white. So I'm doing a constant here. I'm going to set this using set resolution only. And then let's make a really pale blue. And then let's do a composite. Let's see, let's make that even less such. You know, before we do that, let's make it look even more like low res. So let's go back over here. Levels. And let's bump up the contrast. Oh, yeah. All right, and then as the last thing, let's maybe composite onto. Let's composite onto a background. I'm just going to copy that. Composite onto like a gray. So there you go, right? I still got my Zoom running. Oops, oops, that's OBS. Uh, there, Zoom, right? So this is now what my output looks like in this Zoom call that I've got constantly running. I'm not sure why this is blurred. Let's see if we can, oops, I keep doing that. Let's see if we can fix that. Have none on the blur. No touch up my appearance. No adjust for low light. Let's turn off this portrait. There we go. Portrait lighting. Keeping that off. So if you watch to the end, you got to see how it's really done. Right there we go. So that's the trick. Hope this works for you.